Best damn lunch and learn ever. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a show for you that's going to be amazing. I have the brilliant and talented Jenn Sherman on the show today. Thank you so much, Jenn, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I know we're really going to dive deep into dating 101, relationships, how it affects your personal branding. I really am excited to talk about it. But let me give you a background. If you don't know Jenn Sherman, I've known her for many years. She's awesome. She's so hilarious, but she's really brilliant. So she founded the Influencers Collective, the agency that specializes in building the influence of thought leaders, executives, small to medium-sized organizations through next generational digital marketing, which is key. So we're going to talk some strategy about social media and what you should be posting and so on and so forth. We'll cross over a little bit of business and dating since it's the dating advisory board, right? So she has led integrated marketing and digital programs to help companies increase their overall bottom line. And now let's see how we can talk about that and translate it into the dating world.
Yes, I'm excited. This will be fun.
It's going to be great. So everyone say hi. Let us know you're here. If you have questions, please make sure you drop them in the comments and feel free to share the broadcast with your friends that want to learn how we can translate business into dating and cover the gamut. So let's get right off and talking about personal branding and what we really should be posting on social media.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I think just as a millennial and growing up kind of on seeing the growth of Instagram, seeing the growth of Facebook and all those things and really dabbling into each of those platforms. As I've grown as a professional, everything is so transparent. I mean, it's really hard to have a private life, especially as someone who does social media pretty much for a living. So as I've continued to build my brand, really being able to have a mission, have a purpose, have fun, being able to, I guess, have the company Instagram have a purpose, have my personal Instagram a purpose, Facebook, etc. But I think what all of us kind of struggle with too, with this transparent world, is what are the do's and don'ts? Are you going to be so private, or are you going to be showcasing your lifestyle, but obviously have appropriate guidelines so you look fun, you look professional? And I think that's just something that I'm constantly improving on and constantly changing, given what's out there and what's trending and all that stuff. But I probably would say Instagram's my main platform of choice, but understanding Facebook's huge as well since they own Instagram.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think it's true too, because what you said about separating your business and your personal brand, because I think that too, because you still have to build you as a brand in business as well. So making sure you separate the two is key. I think that's brilliant.
100%. But also and having the do's and don'ts, just as a person, I've been told from when I was in high school to college is don't post pictures. I mean, just keep some of that stuff out of the limelight. You don't have to be posting everything and showing everything. So
yeah, exactly. And make sure it has you want to show your side, right? So just a little Jen Heck tip that I use when doing my stuff. So I got more involved in doing Instagram, like you said, because it does make sense. And that's like the major platform that I feel like is driving for the people who I'm targeting for our businesses. And so the age bracket makes sense. But so for me, I want to make sure, like on my personal side, I'm showing Jen, mom, active, I was tennis pro, like a lot of people are like, what? I had no idea you even played tennis. And so we were talking, even she's like, you got to put this stuff out there because this is you. And if you want to, people, building your brand that way. So I think it's, the importance of, is to be yourself and to be you. So when I post stuff, I do funny videos. I don't know if you saw the one about working on my fitness.
Oh, I saw. No, I love your I really like your tennis posts, because I know that we've spoken about how that was a really big thing for you growing up and how you are that. And people are like, wait, you play tennis? Yeah. I don't have that sport, unfortunately. I was a manager of teams in high school. So,
But that's important though. But then look at how that's translating to what you do now. You're managing the teams, right? In business, right? So there's always a way of, looking at your past and showing like what you really were good at, what your strengths are versus your weakness. I'm not going to sit there and say, certain things in my business that I'm good at, I just outsource it.
Exactly. And I think just kind of going into that, because I think this also goes into the personal brand and empowerment and confidence as especially a woman, is that, it's okay if you're not doing it all, and you have to embrace what you're good at, and like you said, outsource what you're not good at, and also embrace those weaknesses, because it's a lot more attractive to say, wait, I'm actually not good at this, and accept the fact, hey, you know what, I know that like I can sometimes procrastinate, or I can be a little last minute, but that's just maybe how I am. Some other people are more organized, some people are, but how are we going to actually work with the more organized people, rather than saying, I need to be more organized, or I need to be more X, Y, and Z. And I think that takes time to really build that confidence. And I think that's huge in your dating, personal, family relationships, in order to really set everyone up for success.
Yeah, I think it's, what we talk about a lot. It's like, you should know who your core values are non-negotiables, and don't defer from them, right? You have to know what you're really looking for, and don't be afraid to turn people off, right? We always say that, like, you can't date everybody. I mean, that would be really busy.
No, you're too busy, too much.
But, but thinking about like who you're really looking for, like, I know, but if I knew it when I was 20, that's why we do all these, opt-ins and everything like that. I probably would have dated smarter, right? In business, like you need to invest in just as much as people invest in their business and in their career. You need to really use that time to invest in yourself, because I think that's where the disconnect comes out a lot of the time. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, 110%. I think the investing in yourself is huge. I think human society in general have that need to want to be with someone else and have that attention. But I think that a lot of times relationships fail because you want that so badly that you just hop into something, and then you grow either with each other or apart. But if you don't invest in yourself and you know yourself and what you want, it's really hard to be in a relationship that can be successful, because like everyone changes. But I really think you need to understand, be confident in yourself before entering anything, whether that is business, personal. But at the same time, we're humans. We do enter those things, and then either they're successful or fails. But being able to look back on past engagements, relationships, and be like, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? How can I be better next time? I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's kind of sometimes where people don't necessarily look back and be like, this is what happened. They might just continue to go on that path of continuing to do the right versus the wrong. And I think that's where you
continue to date the same type of person.
Right. Exactly. So you're only going to expect a similar type of result. So I think it's really just important to have that confidence to be able to embrace, all aspects of that, and really grow within yourself before you enter something serious. So
exactly. It makes sense. The importance of building your brand and being good with who you are is key to, I think, attracting the right person as well. Like, if you're not feeling good about yourself, or you're insecure because somebody said something about you or whatever, or like this guy didn't, or this girl didn't like you, or whatever the case may be, like that is them. Like, don't let their story get into your head. I saw the best quote. They said, you wouldn't let a thief in your house. Why would you let somebody negative like steal your thoughts?
100%. Or just take over your thoughts. I think that's the same thing as humans, you constantly want to relate to each other, and like, especially with relating stories and everything, and, compare and contrast. But frankly, most of the time when you're talking to someone, and if they're truly listening, then they're listening and will, give a proper response. But typically people are just thinking about their own scenario and how they can relate it to you so they can connect with you. But then that might not be always the best option, right? So I think really knowing thyself is, you can set yourself up for success. You can set up people in your family, people in your personal life, people in your professional life. It's just very important.
Yeah, 100% agree. It kind of transferred into like dating profiles, do's and don'ts, right? In business, you're not going to put something crappy on your LinkedIn and expect to get business.
Right. You have to have a all-star, superstar profile LinkedIn. I got there. I did get there. I had I think there'd be one more thing I have to do.
Yeah.
Almost there.
You're almost there. Yeah. And here's the thing. It just boggles my mind is that people aren't looking at, when you're looking to learn something new, or you may not know how to do a dating profile, right? I can help you. You can download the 5 mistakes single women make on their dating profiles. That's on the website. But but the key is, okay, if you don't know, start somewhere. Like Google it, like best dating profiles, like see what comes up. Like if you're having a hard time, look what's on there, but don't put crappy pictures up there, please. Let's talk about pictures.
Pictures, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing too is it's just funny. Like I was on a couple of the apps just from I used it even just for networking. I was like, this is fun. Like, let me just see what's going on. And really, I actually one time reversed it to look at females ones because I was like, I just wanted to see like what people were like, what people market research, you know what I'm saying? And I thought it was interesting, you know. Personally, I think you need to have like that mix of, all right, for me, I struggle with personally is that I'm always really in work zone for the most part. And I assume like, you know, most people want to talk about that. That's not the case. So, you know, I'm like, all right, like I'm getting that sense. Let's talk about something else. But with that said, you know, I've had to adapt my pictures to be a little more, you know, more fun. Like I do more than just work, not looking down at your phone. And, I think also, you know, you want to have pictures with friends, but I think you really want to make it as much about yourself because in this world, I mean, how people consume information, whether that's through emails, that's through Instagram, through Facebook, you have micro moments throughout the day that people transfer into. If you're going to take 5 minutes or 3 minutes throughout your day to just check the dating app you're using, your profile wants to be tight and like succinct and attractive so people will swipe right.
Yeah, I mean that's the point. It's a dating app. It's not a pen pal site. Okay.
Right.
Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. But I think, you know, and I talk a lot about it, especially in the booklet, you know, it gives steps on different when you're doing like, so for instance, if it's, you know, Tinder, like, or any sort of dating app, I mean, the first picture should be a clear picture of you smiling. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just like mad, they're so upset, and then, or just sunglasses. Okay, so what are you hiding? I mean, like, those are the first things. So swipe, 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 laugh but you know, clear pictures and up-to-date pictures, I think is the key, and no more than 3 or 4 photos.
No, don't overwhelm them. You know, keep it short. You know, like 3 or 4. You know, have a pretty, you know, attractive bio of what you do, but you know, keep it again like personal and like maybe say a little professional. But I think actually it's better to just keep it personal. So then you go on a date and talk about that part, but that shouldn't be like the first
thing,
you know, line of communication.
Right. And it's interesting because, you know, we're telling, you know, people say, you know, the description is the hardest thing to say because, like, you know, a lot of people don't feel comfortable, you know, talking about themselves. Right. And so I always say, like, just do a quick line of a movie. Like if you're, you know, like a lot of comedies, like do a quote from one of your favorite movies, right? If you like to cook, don't just say, I like to cook. Tell us something that you like to cook. Tell us a story about it. Like you traveled to Italy, then tell us about your trip to Italy, like what the coolest thing you saw, like, so they can start painting this picture, like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You know? I mean, some of the things I see on there, I told this on another pod, this was fun with, even Ashley, we were doing a live, and this guy legitimately, I can't make it up. He says, you must do this. You must have this. Your BMI must be this. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, number one, you're not a personal trainer. Okay. Okay, let's get started.
So where's your credentials? Just kidding.
Number one. But it's so interesting. It's like your demand. Like, why don't you talk about like how you would be a partner? Like when you're thinking of like, how would you be as a partner to somebody else? Right. And so it's just weird when some of these people are so demanding or like, I don't want drama, or because those ones have the drama, I can tell you. I believe it. What are some of the things that you've seen that are just like you would say no? Like, so try to give us some tutorial.
I would say like, I don't want to see a paragraph really. I mean, like I get like you've been through maybe some significant things in your life and you are looking for something serious or not. So I just think you should put something funny, what you like, maybe your interest, but like put some personality. If you have a whole paragraph, you're doing too much. Right. You're doing way too much. And I just think like that's just a no-no in my mind. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a dissertation. You lost me in the first 4 sentences.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, you look just, because short, sweet, like get to the point. And then, talking about, when I talked about kind of making a joke about it, but like the pen pal, like it's a dating site for a reason. Like if you swipe with someone, like don't like, just actually people say, well, he's got to contact me or she's got to contact me.
Just like go for it. If you're interested, go for it. There's this whole, and that actually kind of goes into, I don't think chivalry's dead. I just think that we're in a moment in time where we're like, I think it's great for men to take charge or do nice things and all that stuff. But I think at the same time, women should be doing that too. It's equal. Like if we're going to be out there talking about equality, I think equality is equality. And I think the whole thing with women empowerment is like, just say hello, just say hello. The whole thing with asking for numbers, I just think it's like, just go for it. There's no time, like in my mind, there's no time for the back and forth or the games. Like we're busy, like.
I mean, that's absolutely 100% accurate. It's like, oh, he doesn't like me. He didn't write me back. Well, what was the last thing you said? Like, are you asking a question? And if they don't write you back, you're just not going to talk to them. I mean, it's just,
yeah. Also, at the same time, it's like this whole texting thing. Like, I'm on my phone enough for social media throughout the day. I don't like the whole texting thing. Like, just get together, see each other, grab a drink, talk. Yeah. You can get a lot more done in that time. I'm talking about efficiency. I mean, it's really aligned with the business. Like, everything is emerged. You have to be able to be efficient with that, and just the back and forth. It's like if people are on the dating app for a reason. They want to be on it to go on a date. So let's move it along. And if it's not a good date, then you just leave after one drink,
Right. Yeah. And then, I mean, you never know where that could lead to. I always say that too. Like, think about when you're going on a date, they're so nervous. They're like, oh, like the Chris Farley movie, what Tommy Boy's like, with the little, do you see Tommy Boy?
I did not.
You did not? Okay. Well, you have to go watch it. It's really funny. But you get so nervous, like, oh God, like especially if these people are like, oh, it checks all my boxes. And it's like, they're so nervous that they're like, oh, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to do the wrong thing or whatever. Like, just take yourself out of it. Imagine it's like a business deal. Like, like you're going in to meet a client for the first time, like just to get to know their business, something like that. But that's the way, I approach it, is like, just get to know them. You don't know, how you could be friends. I mean, it may not be like an actual connection, but you could be friends. It could lead to other introductions to other people. So I think it's just to take so much pressure off of yourself and just to get to know that person as a human.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I actually really like just meeting people in general. So and take the pressure off that. Like, it always kind of goes back to when you were in middle school or elementary school, and just never really be mean to someone. Just never be mean. Always be a good person, because you just never know when you're going to connect with that person again in life. And so I think that, treat others as you want to be treated. I know it goes back to that, but it really is that way, because just because you walk in and there's no vibes, there could just be such a different type of connection somewhere else, whether that is like business. I mean, we're in DC, it's a small town.
Very small.
There's a lot of opportunities. So like, I encourage to be effective with your time. That doesn't mean go out all the time, every night, whatever. It's really what your intentions and priorities are, quite frankly. But I think that if you're there and putting in that time and investment, make good use out of it,
Yeah.
Other types of conversations and see if there's an opportunity for synergy.
Right. I think that's true. I mean, and I think are you seeing more people calling versus texting? I want to kind of get into this communication and how to communicate. I mean, I want to dig a little bit deeper on that.
I think calling, I'm someone who, it's funny because one of my girlfriends tells me all the time, from my college girlfriends, I always call her. And she says to me, why are you like, I don't do phone calls, Jen. I'm like, I call everyone, because calling is so much faster to get stuff done than texting.
Thank you.
I'd rather call, and, texting, it's like you're hiding behind a phone. I don't really that's why I don't really like email. For work, I like Slack because you can get things done very quickly. I like having that open communication where you feel comfortable that you can just call. I mean, that doesn't mean calling. The one thing I don't like is that, this is from in general, if I get calls throughout the day from like a girlfriend, like, there's time periods for the calls. Not saying get too calling all the time, but I think picking up the phone is a lot more effective than hiding behind a text message. What do you
think? I think so too, because a lot of things can be misconstrued in said text, and you put a period there, period. Okay, like
2 dots, 3 dots, 4. Like, what does that mean?
So you're mad? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay or okay. And then it just takes, actually it's a waste of time, because then you're thinking about it, and it doesn't.
Story.
Exactly. It's not worth it. No. So I say pick up the phone.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, because a lot of people are having these relationships via text, right? And they're not picking up the phone. It really boggles my mind. And it's for these guys and girls, you want to stand out for the competition, pick up the phone and call that person, because nobody's doing it.
Oh no, and I think that goes to even business too. People are picking up the phone, but a lot of people hide behind email.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's just not effective. And then at the end of the day, things don't get done. And then what happens? It's like, oh, I missed your email. Well, no one cares. It just didn't get done.
They can get today, have it done tomorrow, right? Yeah,
and I'll tell you, I think just a gesture of, again, I'm not saying you'll go on a first date and write a handwritten note, but I will say that handwritten notes are still alive and well. And I think that they are, I say this as I need to do a lot more of handwritten notes, but they are alive and well, and they go a long way.
Yeah, and I think that's, notes in general. Could you imagine? You wake up or you come home and see this note, that is just, you want to.
That's the cutest thing. I don't need, I don't need flowers. Just send a nice note, Send a nice little note.
Thinking about you. Hope you have a great day. Yeah. Hello. Way to start your day off, right? Positively.
And it's free. It's just not free, but it's pretty, 1 cent for a piece of paper or something.
Yeah.
There's little things you can do. It's not like you have to buy all these gifts or send flowers or chocolates. Those are nice to have, but just a standard old note.
I like it. Sign me up. Okay, so all right, I want to talk about this. So dating apps versus in-person events and meeting through referrals, because I do want to talk about that.
Awesome. So I think these days it's kind of a mix of things. I think it's great to meet somewhere, or especially if it's at some kind of event where we're meeting, where you're actually it's not necessarily business, but it's some kind of event where there's already that connection, so you already have that in common, sort of thing. I am, again, old school, where I think that's a better way sometimes to meet someone. I think apps is a quick and easy way, but it's really it's aggressive. I'm not a huge fan. To be honest, I think I'd rather just meet someone naturally out. That's kind of, or be introduced through someone. But I'm, again, old school that way, where I would send a fax or pick up the phone. So.
Right. No, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I think when you think about it in business, how many times are you actually asking for a referral from your clients? Not a lot of people are. Take a look at yourself and say, okay, have I asked my clients for a referral? You already have someone who knows you, who
knows you and vouches for you. That's I think that's the best bet. And as we were sitting here, I was actually thinking to myself, how can I apply the swipe right, swipe left methodology to work, and just an app that I could create. But that's not, you're not going to, it's an investment. A relationship dating is an investment, just like business. If you're going to invest in something, you want to have the referral, you want to have the setup, or you want to have that base conversation where you are shaking hands and meeting face to face, because, going through 10 dates, or I don't even know what people do. That's excessive, but if you were going on a bunch of dates a week through meeting on an app, right. I just don't think that's sometimes a good use of time, rather than just going out and meeting people.
Right. So, think about it from, so I always like to tie it back to, from the business and the dating too. So back in my telecom days, right? Back in the tech days of Jenn Hecht, I had a lot of nonprofits, which was just ended up, that's who a lot of my clients were, because they knew, I knew exactly how they worked. And so, and if you take that kind of example on, I knew my products, right? Knowing you, I knew my product, I knew what I wanted, I knew what I liked. and apply that into dating. I would say go to your friends and say, hey, I'm single. If you know anyone, like, let me know. And they may not know at that particular time, but now you're putting a little tickler in their head saying, oh, okay, the next time they come out, like, oh, they see somebody at an event or one of their friends, oh, they would be a good fit for Jen, or other Jen with two N's, right? Jen and Jen. It's a Jen and Jen.
And that's actually how we did. We met at a happy hour.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like, and then and to that note, it's like when you meet people and keeping that, like, for example, who that person's going to think in your referral network. I mean, it's always with business relationships, it's give and take. You really, you need to be thinking about people and connecting people and, listening to them when you see them. It's like, well, what can I do for you? Right? What can I do for you? How can I help you? And that's when people, it's the pay it forward model. That's when people will be, whether that's business or personal, will recommend you or refer you. I think it's just so funny I love the basis or foundation of how, the Dating Advisory Board, Dating and Heal started, because it all started with applying business and dating. I mean, I think that, all my clients, they're really like family to me, and they're an extension. I really care about the success of their business or goals. So I will do everything in my power to help them. And I think that that's just something that I apply throughout my whole, personal, professional family. And I think it's very important.
I think it's crucial. I think the amount of time I want to keep driving this in too is make sure you're investing time in yourself, and because you're doing it in business, especially if you're looking to get married or in a serious relationship. Especially marriage. That's the biggest business merger you'll ever make. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you pick the right one. Which actually leads into the next question is, do you think marriage is out the door? I don't know how to say in the younger generation. More things I'm seeing is that people are waiting longer to get married, or just being in a serious commitment. Like, what are your thoughts on the younger generation and their views of marriage?
Yeah, so I think it's actually interesting, because I would say that the upper millennials, maybe the ones who are probably in their like early 30s now, there was a gap where they were all getting married younger. So there's a bunch of younger 30 people who are still not married. But then I think it went back where I'm seeing a lot of my friends get engaged, look, if I look at my Facebook feed, I probably see white dresses and engagements like every day.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's actually changing a bit, but at the same time, I think that seeing that there's, the baby boomers, the Gen Xers and millennials, and like looking at the Gen Xers where there's the highest divorce rate. It's just, it's really important to understand, like understanding what that means, like understanding what that commitment looks like, because, you can be really mature at 23 or 24, depending on the life experience you've had, but it's a big commitment. And I think just from me personally, I really like the idea of building, myself, and that could be with a partner or without a partner. But I think it's a matter of being aligned with someone and being able to grow with them and being able to, have that commitment. But I don't think there's a reason to ever rush into anything, just because there is so much life to live. So there's no reason to rush into that type of commitment at a younger age. So that's my personal opinion, but I'm actually seeing an interesting shift right now, just depending on, I guess, what demographic and
exactly
you're in. But
I had Ron Baker on the show. Shout out to Ron Baker. It was so interesting, and he was talking about the 9 nurturing needs. So how you were met when you were younger and your childhood is how you shaped who you are today, right? And so if your parents, and it's all generational, we talk about like generational dating, is like, it's from the generation. Did they teach you the steps you needed to be in a solid, loving, kind of thing? And if not, like, how do you step out and get that help? Obviously, you want to reach out to someone to help you do that. But when he was saying, I was like, oh my God, yes. There were so many you just don't really look at it. That's why I'm like, we can just give this information. We are at such a crucial time, especially for the younger generation, to change that kind of mindset, to really dive deep in your core values, non-negotiables, know your self-worth, rock your life. Right. And that's the basis why I started. I was like, well, if we could shift, turn it, and then people wouldn't make the same mistakes, because they really already know what they really want. at such a young age.
Which is so important. I mean, that's why I liked our conversation. It's really important, I think, too, is as the society is changing and women do have more of a contribution to the economy as a whole, and you know there are more women business owners, which is that's one of my kind of purposes, missions, is to empower more women business owners, young, you know, old, whichever, around our country, to really, you know, increase the country's bottom line and contribute to the economy. But at the same time, too, with that said, as women are becoming more independent, you know, they're not necessarily getting married right away because they don't feel that they, you know, typically it was the breadwinner of the family was typically male for years, and now that's changing. And it's really interesting time to kind of see that shift in our culture.
I mean, it's interesting. I love Bumble's quote, like, be the CEO that your parents always wanted you to marry. I mean, that's actually came up today.
I like that.
I love it.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. I mean, because if you're good with who you are, you have a chance of not like rushing into something because you're out of a state of like, oh, I'm 30, I'm not married, I need to have kids. Like we said, all my friends are having kids. You may have parents or other family influencers that in your life that are saying you need to do this now. Like you're getting. I mean, I have people say you need to get married. You're gonna lose out, and all these guys are gonna date younger women. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where you're getting this information from. I'm like, I'm like, I'm good. Like, I mean, my human's out there. He's just taking a hot minute to get to me. You know?
In the meantime, I'm having a great time. Like, there's no rush. There's just never a rush. And I think you don't have to put like a timetable or anything. I think if you just are yourself and comfortable with yourself and happy and serving your purpose, knowing your non-negotiables. I mean, that's the thing. It's a lot of things happen when you're not looking necessarily, and that's just how it should be. And I think that's where I've seen a lot more success in, you know, with girlfriends and everything. And I'm personally just in a place where it's like, all right, I'm in business mode, and and of course, like it's nice to go on a date or two, but it's not a must have every single night. And I think that's when the best things actually happen.
I agree. I mean, you put the work into yourself. It's amazing what can transpire from that, right? And who you like. I always say, you know, you are what you attract, right? I don't know who made that quote up, but I love it. I use it a lot because if you are in a negative space, right? People are like, well, I was in a negative relationship, or I was in a toxic relationship, and I can't get out of that mindset. And I say to people, you got to get on these, like, positivity wins, right? So if you're listening to positives, especially if you're in the gym, listen to positives that will enhance not only your business, but your mindset. There's so many meditations that people can do. Setting that kind of routine can help you, right? Exercise, like, get your mind off things too, because it's working. I mean, studies have shown that it increases brain function and prevents brain degenerative diseases as well. So, and then you just feel better because you're out and you're moving around, and I love it.
No, same. No, I definitely agree. And I actually just wrote that down. You attract, you are who you attract, right? Was that one right? Did I do that?
Yeah.
Because I think if you are putting out positivity, like positive vibes out there, then that will come back. I do believe in karma. I believe in energy. I have my stage where it's like, I believe in all of that, where you can get out that bad energy. If you're embracing that, then that's just the people who are going to come, by you. I think for me, like, I could just look at the people who I've let in and out of my life, and it's very clear as to the stages I was in, as to who those people were: friends, family, business relationships, etc. Yeah. And I think it's very important to just constantly kind of take a check yourself and just make sure, like, that you are in that place.
Yeah.
Sending out those types of vibes.
Yeah. And then you stand up for yourself too. I always say that, like, really, if something's wrong or you don't feel like it was just, in dating or business, like, stand up for yourself. I mean,
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting is, people say, I was having this conversation the other day, and someone was saying that, oh, this person was being, this guy was yelling at this girl, and I saw it. I'll tell you the story. So I saw it. This actually happened. It was like Target or something. I'm thinking to myself, you're just gonna, like, sit here and just, like, take that. I was mad. I mean, it wasn't my place to say anything, but as an example, if you're doing that, and then they'll turn like, oh, well, she's such a, bitch or whatever, but it's okay for you to say it and be mean and be, threatening. But then if I extend, then I'm the bad one. Like there's there's these double standards that I don't know. It's standing up for yourself. It's having self-worth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't,
doing it but also doing it in a respectful way. Like it's kind of like when like the debug system, just going back to the whole, what these foundations values you grow up on when we're a kid, is that you can, like, there's a way how you can react. Like the best part is when someone's yelling at you and you're just sitting here and you're responding in like a very respectful manner, but standing up for yourself. That's like the best thing that you can do. That's like the highest strength, because you're not sinking down to that level, but you're also communicating and having your self-worth. So, and then that might either fuel the person more or it might have them calm down. It really depends on who you're talking to. But
right, exactly.
Hopefully the outcome is that they also calm down, but it just depends.
Like, here's hoping.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting is managing that conflict, because we talk about, I've had therapists on the show and how to have healthy communicative relationships. And I think that is being able to communicate, knowing what your communication style is. Is it text? Is it calling? If you say, I really like it, both of us would like to be on the phone, right? And
yeah. I can talk for hours too. I mean,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's just like,
it's me. I love it. And so you say, if they keep texting you and you say, well, I really like to communicate it by phone, and you're letting them know and they're still not getting it. I can't spell it out. Maybe I should text it.
Put it in the profile. I'd be like, actually, so I like to communicate just by phone, as in talking, not texting. But I think I would recommend doing that. But
yeah,
you can slide that in kind of cute at some point.
You can do something like texting doesn't work on my phone, but phone calls do.
I have a flip phone, like that literally just does. I actually have a pager, so I only can do phone calls.
Yeah, so just page me. Oh my
yeah.
God. That's funny. I don't think they even have them anymore. I never see them.
I feel like probably the doctors do. Like I feel like they might still have pagers, but who knows?
Who knows? It's crazy.
It's unclear.
It's unclear.
It's sad though, because pagers are fun.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So talk to us about some of the stuff that you're working on and how people can get in touch with you. And we'll go over some other stuff too. We'll talk about events coming up.
Yeah. So, I mean, really right now, one of the biggest things is really leveraging podcast and live streaming. I think we're in the world where there's tons of voice and audio. I mean, right now, I'll even go somewhere and just say, I'm not going to say her name because she's sitting right next to me. Starts with an A, ends with an But the thing is I think really merging the high quality video and voice, and really essentially what we're doing right now is, this is a podcast, but it's Facebook live streaming, and leveraging the free tools that are out there to do this in order to increase companies' bottom line. So and I know that's from digital marketing terms, but really being able to identify what's next in the market, what's upcoming, what's currently trending, and how can we leverage traditional marketing tactics such as pagers, LOL, to help achieve companies' goals, grow communities, and increase companies' bottom lines. And that's essentially what we do throughout any client that we work with, whether that's software development, veterans, I work with the diplomacy podcast, and really it varies. It really truly varies, but you can use the same type of tactics and just customize them for the different target audiences.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Because, you are creating podcasts, obviously. I like podcasts, and it's fine. And people say, well, I could never do it. I don't have any experience with that. I didn't either until I pushed that button.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting started. And I've loved to watch you kind of grow your community and grow your brand leveraging these tools. I mean, you're a case study for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's great to see that. And really looking at what's down the pipeline, and with Facebook Watch, I mean, again, offline, we can have a whole other discussion of how to take this somewhere else, because I think there's so many things out there that we can use that's at our fingertip, where there's a community to help spread the word and get the message out there. We're in such a like digitally savvy world, and in order, I think, for companies that are, it doesn't even matter like what industry you serve, whether you're B2G, B2C, B2B, you have to be on social media to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, when I was listening, years ago when I started it, they're saying, oh, video, you gotta do video, you gotta do live. And because you look at the influencers, like, what are they doing? You need to emulate that. They are successful for a reason.
Of course.
Your own spin on it, right? So, posting, like having the Instagram, having your personal and your business, but have it be relevant to you, and don't not be the person that you are or the business that you are. And
be authentic, and use social media to be authentic and create a humanizing your brand, give some character to it.
Exactly. And when you're talking, I think I created this because I thought, okay, when I was back in being single, I didn't even know where to begin. So I'm like, well, I'm going to interview all these people to say, okay, give me the information to help, me spread the word to everybody else. And that's really the key is that's I'm learning as well as everybody else. So
yeah, and understand what's working, what's not working, what's resonating with your target audiences, and trying things out, just trying out new things, and then being able to pivot and either lather, rinse, and repeat that process if it works, or throw it in the garbage and try something else. I mean, it's just, it's something that's constantly evolving, and it's just, I love what I do. I mean, that's kind of like, it's just fun for me. So, yeah. And I feel like we're aligned in that regard, where I think you're having some fun too with that.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to get real interesting soon too. So stay tuned. But no, I think you're right though, is really knowing what you really want to do, right? Just like in dating, be who you really want to be that in business too, right? People will say, like, I can't believe I stayed at this job for so long. This is not really what I want to do. They find themselves so hard, like when they're trying to open that door to go into that office door. Well, you can change that. People are so stuck in their own head about, well, people are going to judge me. My parents want me to do this. My parents want me. Okay, well, this is your life. Just like about marriage, this is your life. You get to choose. Your repercussions aren't affected by them.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they can have especially with, jobs, and everyone kind of wants to, people want to please other people. But when it comes to, that's the whole thing with the crisis disengagement in America right now, is that there's a large portion of our country that go to work every day and are miserable. And then they affect the people, maybe it's a toxic environment. And then that's not helping the company, like, why don't you channel what you love, channel your passions, and just take a risk and go for it. And I'm hoping that millennials, we actually are the lowest rate of entrepreneurship, which is kind of sad, especially with all the technology that we have surrounding us.
Why?
I think it's a risk averse thing.
Yeah.
But rather than sitting there and complaining, do something. Or, if you don't like something, then take initiative at work and say, hey, I've been doing this. I would like to contribute this, and I think that there's just a lot of work that kind of needs to just be done in channeling that passion, and understanding what you want to do, and then, going for it, because that's really what's going to increase, make our economy better is right. With a happier workforce doing what they love is going to increase more to the GDP. So.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's the same in, being able to communicate with your partner as well.
Yeah.
If you find yourself, just like in business, you're like, well, I don't want to rock the boat. Like, I don't want to change anything. I don't want to get upset. I don't have anyone to get upset. And I don't want to ask for that raise, because what if I don't get it? Then, I'm going to get fired. It's just like you create these crazy stories in your head, right? From a fear-based mindset. And I think that's, it's very unfortunate. So how to break that cycle, obviously is a game changer. But in relationships, I think that people are afraid, like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, nothing's wrong. Well, yeah, there's something wrong, but like they're afraid. They don't want to say, oh gosh, they got to leave me. I got to start this process all over again. I got to get back on the dating site.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, you have to be open, because if you go in and you're like just going to be sitting back, then that's not going to help anyone, because then you need to be able to just be yourself. And if you're going to sit there and be worried about saying things that they won't like or accept, that's just, that's not setting anyone up for success. That's just that's a disaster waiting to happen quick.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's why I said, like, if you have to have the open, because, but I think it comes back to being emotionally available and knowing what that is. And I think it's I think it's from guys, you know, have this, oh, I have to be strong, I have to be this, I can't cry, I can't show emotion, and then does everybody a disservice, because you can't truly be open and vulnerable with your partner, because they don't have the tools to do that.
100%.
Yeah, so being open is key. I mean, if you're really looking for something, like, really be open, put it out there. This is what I'm looking for. Ask for referrals, put it out in the universe, write it down, everything to attract. Because I say, like, you set goals for yourself. You set goals for business, right? I mean, you haven't been to my house, but I have whiteboards everywhere.
Oh yeah, my whiteboard right now, it's like, it's giving me anxiety because it's still, I have to draft my to-do list for this week. Yeah. But then, like, if I got ideas, I think one time I was on a phone call and I just, like, mapped out this whole business model for this whole thing. I mean, it's just, I have to be physically actively writing, like, or doing something. That's why I can't really sit still.
Yeah, I can't either.
I have to be confident.
Yeah. No, but it's true. But, you know, I would say that, coming back to that, because I do want to talk about some events too. I think for me personally, I need to get better about asking people for, you know, referrals in business and dating.
No, I mean, you just have to put yourself out there. Where it comes to business or dating, you just have to put yourself out there, because once you put those types of thoughts in the universe, people will come back to you, and, you know, within your network of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and, you know, obviously going to networking events around the DMV, I mean, now we're at an opportunity to, you know, there's a blessing with social media, and there's also no bueno part of social media, right? And events, and, you know, you know, friends and what people are liking. But I mean, at least especially on Facebook, where you can see the events and Eventbrite, and it ties all together, people can say, okay, well, what event, like, what are friends going to? And you can look and to see who's going. I mean, that, just like in business, I mean, how many times have you had a list, right, of, you know, who was coming, that you can say, okay, I'm going to look and see who they are, and if it may be a good match for a potential partnership, to get to know that person from the business.
And do your research beforehand, so then, you know, you see their face, and you can, you know, go. That's what I use LinkedIn for when I, like, do all my research on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
But anyway, if you can see, that's why Facebook events are the best. I mean, there's so many things. If you're not leveraging Facebook and all of its features, like, you're doing it wrong, because there's so much that they offer, and it's one of the most widely used social media platforms. There's no reason not to.
Right. You can see what events are coming up. I mean, you're like, what's everybody doing? Well, you can see who's going where, and then you can invite your friends to it to see. I mean, so I love it. I mean, we have our big event coming up on Friday.
Yes.
Very excited.
It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be best. So it's a dream date mixer, for those of you who know me on social media, because we've been posting about it. But it's a dream date mixer. It's a fundraiser to help support Dreams for Kids. But it's also Glenda and I's birthday. So we're going to be
celebrations.
I know, it's going to be amazing. So I'm excited. And Eve, Monica, and Reams Hopos is going to be also guest bartending. I mean, I always said this the other day. It's going to be really funny. I mean, I've never bartended. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Hey, it's just to throw. That's what I do with cooking, or, you know, even when I make a drink, I just throw in a little bit of this, throw a little of that.
I know we have like 3 signature drinks though. So one is the red bottoms. Yeah, a little Louboutin, right? Red bottom drinks, and then there's a Dream Rita, and then there's Sea Breeze, like for our major sponsor on it. So for Capitalist Aesthetics. So it's going to be really fun. I mean, I think we're up to like 160. I have to check, but 160. So. And then we're going to start announcing the Bachelor and Bachelorettes this week. So it's going to
wow.
We got some surprises in there too. So Inglot's going to be there doing some makeup touches. So thank you to Kenya for supporting us. And we have some other fun raffle prizes too. And so if you are in the DMV, make sure that you go on Eventbrite, go on Dating and Heels on Facebook, and you can get the link. Too. I think I posted on Facebook too, on Dating Advisory Board as well.
I think there's also a Facebook event too that you did.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, so Facebook. I mean, we're trying to cover the gamut. I mean, this is going to be fun. I'm excited. some really cool people coming. So that's why I think I like these kind of events, because you do meet people, and some of them is, well, I'm not single, but you still want to support it. We're going to give special wristbands to the people that we know are single.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right? Because
it doesn't get awkward, you know. It's
like, oh no, I'm married or I'm in a relationship. Well, if you have the wristband on, there's no question. Right. It's like, so it's like
green light.
Someone's like, can I have 2 bracelets just to make sure? I was like, yeah.
That is so clever and awesome idea.
Yeah, I did not come up with that. That was Glenda. So shout out to birthday girl Glenda. Oh my God. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be nice too. So I'm really excited. It's not going to be 900 degrees out there. It's going to be like,
oh God, that's the worst. It's a swamp sometimes out here in DC. It is a swamp.
I know.
And then it's like, what's the even point of like putting on makeup, doing your hair? It's just going to come all off. So
I just put in a high bun and call it a day.
Exactly.
You know, seriously.
Oh, that's typically where I have my head. It's right up here.
Yeah.
And at any evening, that's when you find me. My bud's on the head.
Exactly. So make sure you guys sign up, Eventbrite. You don't want to miss this Dream Date Mixer. We got a bunch of other stuff coming up too. Power Networking Brunch in September. We'll be posting on that as well. So it's going to be good. So where can everybody reach you, Jen?
They can follow me on social media at Jenn, 2 N's, R Sherman. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then my company's is Influencer Collective DC. So at Influencer Collective DC on Instagram and Facebook. So Find me, follow me, shout out, whatever. Always willing to talk on the phone, hopefully, emails. Not so much, but I will respond.
Will respond, exactly. Yeah, she's great. I love her. She's really smart, funny, a hard worker. So I love her to pieces. So thanks so much for being on the best damn Lunch and Learn ever.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. I'm excited for Friday and for the Power Networking Brunch as well. We'll promote on the Influencer Collective, of course.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for your support. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great week. All right, see ya. If I can hit that. Just kidding. I'm just going to stand here. It doesn't want to close.